everybody, it's Adrian. Just doing a video, I haven't done this before in my videos, kind of a look back at my Uwharrie Mountain Run 40 miler. I want to start doing this kind of an intro to my race videos, but I was kind of forced into it this time because I messed up a few things. So you'll notice in a couple of clips, first maybe 2 or 3 clips, it's only like 2 or 3 minutes, so hopefully you can suffer through it, or maybe I can try and figure it out in editing. But I have a GoPro, and I have, for the running portion of the GoPro, the videos, I have it's called the Max Lens mod, and it's basically this giant fisheye lens. And what that allows the video to do, the GoPro to do, is when I'm running around, bouncing around, doing all that kind of stuff, trying to get this open, but I can't do it, but it allows the GoPro to make everything steady, so when you're watching the video, like, the background's not moving around and you don't see me bouncing up and down that much. And so when I'm running, so when I use that, the GoPro has this different setting, so it knows, okay, I need to crop this stuff out, and I need to change the aspect ratio and everything on the camera. But when I filmed the video, that's my dog in the background. Say hi, Max. So when I filmed the pre-race video, I used this regular lens that I'm using now, but then I forgot to change the settings. So when I got into the race, the first few clips, everything's like, just looks like a big circle. So that was one reason. So I kind of messed the first couple of clips up, and then after that, I can't remember, I think it was like 13 miles or so, I kind of was chasing a goal and was really on the borderline, and in the end, you'll see, I made a PR, but I didn't hit what I wanted, but it was definitely like pushing. So I kind of sacrificed the video to try and concentrate on the race. I'll put this in, then I'll show the clips that I took from the race, and then after I'll go over and discuss how everything ended up. But spoiler alert, PR, not the PR I wanted, and some issues during the race. All right, talk to you in a bit. All right, it is 6:58, so 2 minutes to the start. It's not quite as cold as it's supposed to be. It said it was going to be like 27 or something. I might have mentioned this last night, but it's about 32. I think the high is maybe 40. So when I first put this on, again, I thought it was going to be too warm, and I might still be, but after being outside and doing check-in and everything, obviously I'm cooler now. So I still did the gloves, I still did the hand warmers. That might not be necessary once I start going, but we'll see. All right, I'm gonna check in with a few minutes. All right, bye.
All right, I'll start you with a cowbell. Butter, take your mark.
That one not just start. Oh, that's it. That's it. That's the cowbell.
Oh, that's softer than I thought it was going to be.
All right, I am 3.6 miles in, like 11:50 pace so far. Last year I was 14 something. I finished in 9 hours and 35 minutes. We just missed a turn, but it wasn't too big a deal. It was like maybe like 20 seconds that we actually made a turn, got back on, and then immediately made another wrong turn, but that was only like 5 or 10 steps, so that wasn't a big deal. But trying to push the downhills a little bit more. With the group, they keep leading me on the uphills, but I'm catching them on the downhills. So kind of my goal is to not get dropped on a downhill. So going well so far. Trying to not push it too much. I think in the first mile or two I was a little overexcited. So long race, still 36 miles to go. So plenty of time to catch up and stuff. So, but we haven't passed any aid stations yet. Passed two road crossings. One road crossing had like the amateur radio people, you know, for safety. Supposed to be aid stations about every 3 miles on this race. So, all right, check in there. All right, I just realized that my settings are wrong. Hold on. All right, well, I didn't realize the first couple of clips my settings were wrong, so I don't know how the video is going to come out, but it's been a while. I am, let's see, hold on, sorry, 13.1. I've been taking my Goose like right on the dot every 45 minutes, so 45 minutes, hour and a half to 15. In this bottle here, I had Scratch, and just sipping on that every 5 or 10 minutes or whatever. So I did go through this whole bottle, 16 ounces in 2 hours. So nice even numbers there. My pace is 11:55. So I'm definitely ahead of last year, but yeah, still 27 miles to go. So but I just wanted to check in. I am having a problem. It was warm, so I think my hands started sweating a lot, and so they were warm. And then I took the hand warmers out, and then a while later it got colder, and so now my hands are soaked and they're getting wet. I mean, getting cold. So I have another set of hand warmers at the turnaround. I just hope that my hands are okay between now and then. Other than that, the only note is I took my poles out at mile 7. Haven't been using them too much, but definitely on the climbs. Speaking of climbs, 13 miles in, just over 2,600 feet of gain. So, all right, I'll talk to you later.
Okay, so you can see I mentioned a lot of stuff in just a short few minutes of clips. And so I just wanted to go over how things ended, since after this 13.1 mile point, I didn't record again. And then I wanted to record once I finished, but a bunch of other stuff going on. This is a race. So it's about 2 hours from me, but it's like a local race for me because a lot of people I know do this race. I'm part of this running club called the Trailheads, which is obviously a trail running group. And then there's a local running store called Bull City Running, who put on the race, and they have a road running club, and I'm also in that. So kind of, you know, where some races you can kind of finish and you're kind of anonymous and I can just walk off and start talking to the camera or do whatever. This race, you finish, I pretty much know everybody there, and everybody wants to know how the race goes, and I want to know how their races went, and how the volunteering goes, and how the race directors are doing, and things like that. So I didn't really get a chance to even do that. So that's why I'm doing this a little bit different this time. But so just, I might not do this in the same order that I mentioned it in the video, but I did get a PR. So the last year I ran it, I mentioned in the last video that last year I did a 50K like the week before this, because the 50K got pushed back. It got delayed. So I was expecting a big PR, and I ended up with a 20-minute PR. So that's about 30 seconds per mile, which I guess if I'm objective, that's good. I mean, that's a lot. 30 seconds a mile is good. I was hoping more for an hour, since I wasn't completely tapered for this race, but I had a down week last week. So I was hoping for a little bit better. So last year I ran 9 hours and 35 minutes. This year I ran 9 hours and 15 minutes. The breakdown was I got to the turnaround in 4 hours and 5 minutes. Spent some time there. I think I spent about 5 minutes there, maybe a little bit longer. And then the way back, it took me 5 hours and 10 minutes. And there's a few more stops. Just trying to stay in order. So I'll get back to why that took a little bit longer than I expected on the way back. But I mentioned I was cold at the front in the beginning, and then I had the hand warmers, and I got warm, and so then I took the hand warmers out, and then this race I had 7,500 feet of gain to total, so it's up and down. So you're in the sun, you're out of the sun. So it got cold again later, a few miles later, and because I had gotten warm before, my hands were sweating and my gloves were just drenched. So I had to. I put the hand warmers back in. I think one actually fell out, but they just didn't feel warm after that. So I had that jacket, the Harrier Exmoor jacket. It was a rain jacket, waterproof jacket. I think it's a lot better than just a rain jacket. But it had thumb holes, and so what I did was put my hands in there, and then I just pulled the sleeve over my hand. And that was able to warm my hands up enough. And then I didn't need the hand warmers on the way back, so I didn't even grab them. So then on the way out, so last year I remember, I don't know why I didn't remember this year, but when I went to do the race last year, I remembered that the last 5 miles, so mile 15 you have a hill. It's about a mile long. It's not technical into that, but it's definitely a hill, and it's challenging, and it wears you down. And then from that point to the turnaround, it's just very technical. It's kind of up and down and windy and narrow. And you also have, Max wants to say hi. You also have traffic. So the 20-mile runners start an hour behind you. So you have a few of them catching up. And then you also have people that have already made it to the finish that are now turning around and coming back at you. And so that slows you down. You're stepping off the trail for people coming back, or people are stepping off the trail for you. And last year I remembered this about the race, and I just was like, well, that 5 miles or 10 mile section, because it's the last 5 and the first 5 coming back, that I'm just gonna kind of relax, and because I'm not gonna make up any time there, so not wear myself out. This year, I don't know why, but I completely forgot about that, and I probably got to like 18 or 19 before I was like, this is annoying. I'm working really hard. I'm slowing down, and so I think that was one effect for why my way back was slower this year than it was last year. You know, I did mention that I was trying to go hard on the downhills. I don't really think that affected me. My quads were fine. I think it was just that frustration and that like, oh, I'm trying to, you know. So on the way out, like I said, I got to the turnaround at 4:05. So for a while, I was like, oh, maybe I can get under 4. And that was just dumb, because that section is just, like I said, really technical, twisty, and traffic. Also, another contributing factor to why my turnaround time was slower this year than it was last year is that last year, because of COVID, so we said everybody had to be vaccinated and boosted and everything this year, or attest to some kind of COVID, either a negative test or something like that. Last year, the same thing happened, but they didn't do the 20 miler all the way out. They did a 16 miler out and back. So for us 40 milers, when we turned around, we didn't have any of those 20 milers coming at us. So that section was a little bit smoother for us because we could just go through it. We're just to run through it. Whereas this year, you know, you've got all these people coming through and you're either stepping out of the way or they're stepping out of the way. So that definitely contributed. And then the next problem I had was between miles 30 and 34. So I was taking, I called them Goose in the video, but they're just gels, and I think most of them were like spring energy gels. And I was taking them for the first 45 minutes every time, and then I started to space that out to an hour, and then in the half hour, most of the time I was coming up on an aid station, and so I would take some kind of a real food, like in this case I took like 2 orange slices and I had some like chicken soup, just more like broth and a little bit of noodles, but mostly broth. Well, when I got to mile 30, I didn't feel like I was gonna throw up or anything, but I did feel like a little, I guess, bloated, and my stomach felt like tight, and I was definitely burping and had some gas, and so I didn't have to stop. I didn't have any problems like that, but it did slow me down for a few miles. And also, so the technical section I just spoke to you about, that took me out of it a little bit. I was really annoyed at that I forgot about that, and then I pushed through that, and I just wanted that part to be over. And then I had about 5 miles where I was like, oh, okay, I feel good. And then I had this stomach issue, and that kind of pulled me out of it again mentally, just like, you know, I'm slowing down, and I wanted to, you know, so the original goal was like the hour, and then on the way out I was going so quickly, I was like, oh, maybe I can get under 8 hours, so that would be like almost an hour and a half PR, but I didn't think that was that realistic. But I was thinking, you know what, if I make it out in 4, if I come back in 4.5, you know, that's 8.5, that's still an hour. And then between the 30 and 34 mark, it started getting closer to 9, and I really wanted to stay under 9. I was like, you know, if I could break 9 hours, that'd be great. But then I think around mile 32, there was an aid station, and I saw some friends there, and they knew that I'm training for the the Umstead 100, and they said, you know, make a good decision now. Like, don't forget about that goal. Just focus on what you need to do here. Like, this will be a lesson for you for the 100 miler. And so just think about that. And so I kind of threw that, I still in the back of my head was hoping I'd break 9, but I kind of threw that out the window. But by mile 34, the stomach problems had gone away. I got some really good advice about, because what I was told is that the oranges in combination of everything else was kind of creating more acid in my stomach, and that was kind of, because I liked it, as far as the oranges went, they tasted good, and like I felt like, oh, this would be yummy. But I was kind of told to, you know, maybe take some bread or something like that to try to calm the stomach down, and I did that at 32, and by 34 that problem had gone away. So I'm just looking at the rest of my notes. I don't want to make this too long for you. So yeah, so I had mentioned I had made a quick wrong turn, and then got back on the trail and made another quick wrong turn, and that was, I don't know, maybe a minute or so total. On the way back, I did also make one more wrong turn. And again, that might have been a minute, maybe 2 minutes. Probably not 2 minutes, but more than a minute. And it was just the trail was going up and then another one split off. And so I went, of course it was on an uphill. So I probably went like 30 meters or something like that before I figured it out. I saw a blaze. The course is on white blazes. This was a yellow blaze, and I was like, I did swear to myself. Well, I swore out loud. There was a woman right behind me, so we both had to turn around and got back on. So that wasn't too bad, but I did want to mention that I did do that again. And so my finishing pace was right around 14 minutes, I think 14:05. Finished in 9 hours, 15 minutes, and 53 seconds. So it was a 20-minute PR, and I finished 20th overall. So that was that race. Lessons learned both in the racing and in the filming. And I love that race. I wish that I had remembered that 5-mile section going out and first 5 miles coming back, because I did remember that last year and I was prepared for it and it didn't bother me as much, whereas this one it really annoyed me. But if I had remembered that, I think I would have been in a much better mental state for most of the race, other than the few miles of like stomach issues. So I hope this was helpful to anybody who's interested in doing the race. I like it. Everybody's really great there. And weather is normally pretty good, like in that 30 to 40 degree weather range. And also, if anybody has any tips on how to fix this video, I'm gonna look at it. I don't know if I can do it, but I'm more interested in getting this information out. And you know, doing YouTube videos is a newer process for me. You know, just beginning of the year, I've decided to try and do this. So I'm sure I'll learn that going down the road. But if anybody has anything helpful to say, I'd appreciate it. And I will talk to you later. Thanks so much for checking out. Bye.